Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Regroup Podcast, where I get to talk to good people doing great things. Today we have very special guests, Costanza and Leonard from the Watoto Coding Hub. These are amazing people that are helping children in marginalized communities learn how to code. I'm going to let them introduce themselves because they know more than I ever could about the amazing work that they do. So starting off, Costanza, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm introducing myself first, but everything was started by Leonard first. But I mean, maybe ladies first, you know? But in terms of the nonprofit itself, Leonard was the first one because he started it. I joined him later as a remote volunteer. And by the way, for anyone listening to this, there is a lot of good you can do remotely. You know, maybe you can't afford to go to the country, maybe you have a health problem, you can't go there, you can do some good remotely. So that's what I'm trying to do. Aside from my day job, that is. I'm passionate about tech, education, and the mixture of the two and how they can be combined to make everything more accessible. So here I am. I manage the social media channels and all the outreach. Hence why I commented on LinkedIn asking if we could be guests. And
I'm so
here we
glad you
are.
did.
Me too, me too. And so here we are. And now this the real founder here. Now we have to.
Oh, okay, Leonard. Well, she's really hyped you up. How did you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Thank you for hosting us, David. My name's Leonard Onyango. I was born and bred in Kibera slums, where I started. I started Watoto Coding Hub. Watoto Coding Hub started during the COVID-19 pandemic, where I decided to create a safer space for children where kids can spend their time while learning because all the schools were closed. And that was where I realized the kids really love technology, and some of them and the parents wanted me to take this to the next level even after the schools are opened. So that's when I started the after school program where they come and learn the basic coding skills using Scratch Junior and Scratch. Costa came later and introduced 3D modeling using Tinkercad. So that's where it all started. We started under a tree, and maybe we'll talk about that in the podcast. Yeah.
Absolutely. During COVID, were the schools completely closed at all? Like, were the kids given some sort of take-home curriculum, or was everything shut down?
Yeah, the able schools created like WhatsApp groups for parents where they sent homeworks, and then using the small printing shops to print, and then they could do homework at home. But in Kibera slums, most of the kids are in informal schools, just a school that runs in a church room where the classes are separated with a blockboard. So such schools didn't have such a privilege. You find most of the parents. I found an opportunity, like at least to keep them busy, create a safer space for the young kids, young boys and girls, yeah, so that at least they can make something useful out of it. The schools were completely closed in Kenya, yeah, for
Oh,
9 good months. Yeah, talking
absolutely.
about.
So how many
Oh,
kids were how many kids are in the slums? And then of those kids, how many are you able to educate in your coding facilities?
okay, currently we are operating in one of the villages of Kibera. Kibera has 4 villages. So currently we are in one of the village where, according to the facilities that we have in this space, we can only like accommodate 30 kids,
Mhm.
uh, because we have 11 tablets which they share among themselves. And the kind of manpower and all that and the funding that we are not currently having, that's all we can do for now. But we would love like to have like an excellence center or a proper space where we can even run our sessions from Monday to Friday. That one we can even reach like 100 kids, yeah, per week. So in Kibera, we have like 4 million people living in Kibera, which means we have a lot of kids because every household has like at least three children. So we have like a very large number of kids living in Kibera, and all of them need such services that we offer. So we are looking at a situation where we'll be equipped enough to even reach more kids on a daily basis or during the weekends, or when they're on holidays, we can even host coding clubs and stuff like that. That will help us like at least reach a bigger number and make a bigger impact. Yeah.
So that's like the next big hurdle to sort of level up what you're doing right now is getting a bigger facility, probably getting more tablets. What do you guys need to do that? Is there a like funding amount that you guys are looking to raise?
Okay, so the room right now it's $100 per month. We raised enough funding to have it rented for September and October. But that's not because we found a person that spent $200 at once. No, we found a lot of people that did something small, but that then became something big. Right. So that's the cost of the. I don't know how it is in other cultures, but to talk about money maybe it's not a good idea in other cultures. Well, in Italy it's not a problem. So, and also people need to know. People need to know. Okay, so that's the room. But then you mentioned tablets, which is true because he mentioned tablets, so you just repeated that. But I mean, there's only so much they can do on tablets. These kids really want to become software developers. They do. They just don't want to play around, with games.
Yeah.
So, not to make anyone feel guilty, but I mean, sometimes you go to a restaurant and you see these kids on the phone, they're just playing. Like, these kids don't use the tablets to play.
Yeah.
Okay? It's forbidden. Which is how it should be. But they respect the rule. So give them laptops, you'll have software developers in 5 years? Yeah, I'd say yes.
So you guys are looking to upgrade to laptops as well.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Cheap ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, cheap ones. Not a MacBook. I don't have a MacBook myself, so.
Yeah.
One thing that strikes me is it seems like even just a little bit of money, like if your rent is really only $100, I guess the American or the
Only.
Well, where I live, that's not very much money. But
Oh.
I mean, the equivalent of $100 like USD a day or a month, that's very little considering like the amount of benefit these children are receiving, right? Like, and a tablet is or a new laptop is only probably maybe a couple $100, and that's.
Oh, actually, no. I calculated with the refurbished. I made my calculation. It will be 73.50
USD. Yeah. I mean, it's a shame that more money isn't being flown or isn't flowing into sort of these areas because these are the people that need it the most, right?
Yeah, and I mean, we all need software developers,
Yeah.
So they're gonna somehow everything comes back, the skills are going to circulate. Somehow it's going to benefit all of us anyways. So
now you guys have only been open for how long have you been open for? A couple of years?
Yeah, we've been here since 2020. So that is 3 years.
3 years? 3 years now. So I guess you haven't had any well, I guess have you had people like graduate sort of the program? Has anybody gotten a job or they're still a little young?
Not yet. We operate with we teach kids between age 6 to 14 years old.
Okay, so they're still
the ones the ones who have graduated have just gone to the high school. Yeah, they just became adults, and so to jump into the technology that we need, what we need, we have the tablets, but the tablets are kind of limiting. We have we have a curriculum, and there are a lot of people who have gave us a lot of learning resources that like 90% of them requires a laptop which runs on Windows or Linux. Yeah, so the tablets are limiting because sometimes when we are doing 3D modeling, anybody who has done 3D modeling would agree that using the tablets and the touch is kind of limiting Blender and Tinkercad and all that. So you find like the other day we are doing an unplugged activity, HTML unplugged activity with the kids. So at some point we realized that we need to like make it practical. After doing the HTML, writing the opening code, the tags and everything else, the kids wanted to see, okay, now what happens if we put it in a laptop? Now we don't have the laptops. So it reaches a point where we need to have the tablets, which are important, and then we also have the laptop, which can help us achieve the complete, maybe implement the entire curriculum. So that is exactly that's where we want to get, so that we can get real graduates, somebody who can like do a simple website maybe when they get to 18 years old or after high school, somebody who can try and make Tinkercad useful to them. Currently we are learning to do simple shapes, we are learning to do rockets, and now we want them to know how can we apply Tinkercad in real life, how can we apply HTML in real life, how do we apply Python programming in real life, so that it can convert to. And also the Arduinos, we want to like automate. We want to do automations in the slum. We want to do automations to water gardens, the backyard gardens in the slums, just for them for the parent to plant food, the vegetable and everything else. So those are the solutions that we want to try to create, but it takes the technology.
Yeah.
That goes with the curriculum and all that.
Now, what would this mean for a kid's life, being able to have these skills and become a software developer? Like, would this enable them to get out of the slums? I don't know, sort of, I don't know what the process looks like for moving up in class or having a better future.
But can I say something though? No, because it's but because it's a compliment to Leonard actually. Basically, that's the kind of question I asked myself at first too. But one thing that Leonard said that really struck me was that his aim is not only to get them out of the slum, is to improve the slum itself. Is that correct? Right, that's what you told me.
That's correct. What we don't want to leave the slum. The slum has made me. And the only thing that I could offer is just to go back there and try to tell these kids it's possible. It's tough living in the slum. It's personal. It's a personal story for me. Like, it's tough living in the slum. My parents left us when I was just like 17 years old. My both parents died when I was 17 years old. Left in the slum. I had all the reasons to get into drugs, get into crime and all that. But I didn't give up. At some point I met a church, and the church took me to school, and here I am. So I just went back there to make things better and tell these kids it's possible. And at some point, technology has been reserved for the people who are rich, maybe, if I may. The people who are rich, the people can. But in the slums, you find they're being told, mostly the girls, they're being told to go learn tailoring, which is okay. They're being told to go learn catering, which is fine. They're being told, but the technology is reserved for the boys and for the people who are able. So, and at this point, I'm not just teaching basic computer skills, which is the only thing that people are learning. After school, you go there, mouse, keyboard, right click, left click. No. What I'm teaching is like, you can do data analysis using Python. You can develop a website, HTML. You can be a game developer. You can be an app developer. At a younger age, what we are teaching is the sequencing, we are teaching debugging, and we are teaching so that in future, when they get to the technical coding skills, it makes sense to them. Moving left, move forward, move back, repeat, and all that. So that is what happens in every back end of us, in anybody, for anybody who is doing software development or data analysis. That's the same language. If you're doing Arduinos, you're doing automation, the backend looks the same. So that is what I'm imparting into these kids, mostly igniting passion. So they will choose what to do with the skills. If
Yeah.
they choose to leave the slums, fine. They might come back and give back to the community. They might create solutions. We are talking of recycling and all that. There's a lot of waste materials, waste plastic, waste, a lot of waste stuff in the slums, which when we teach them to be innovative, problem solving and creative thinkers, it might click at some point. Yeah.
It's a big
So
mission.
that's a very big dream. And
Yeah.
at the same, there's something I wanted to mention about the space that we are using. It's not the best space. It's the only thing that we can afford currently. Yeah. When the numbers go high, we even learn outside. Yeah, which is not like, but we are lucky we have rechargeable devices. That's why we always go for the laptops, because electricity is also an issue which we are looking at. If we have a space, we are looking at solar power, inverters that can store power so that we can always be using it. Yeah. So yeah, it's quite a big dream. Yeah. Sometimes yeah, sometimes it scares me.
If you can accomplish that, then you've definitely made the world a better place, I think.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's admirable that you've stayed in the slums and you sort of encourage people to give back to the community, and you're working within the community to make it a better place.
Exactly.
Now, is there, you talk about having a better space. Is there a space that you have your eye on within the slums? Is there a community center that you can rent or purchase that is close to where you are now?
Yeah, mostly in the slums, there are houses. They are just mud houses, which you can purchase like 4 units and make it to your preference. It's like you lease for like 10 years and then you make it to your preference, or you can just purchase it and make it to your preference within the slum. That is what happens with most of the setups that are in the slums.
And then how much would that be? If your current rent is 100, how much would like one of these 4-unit mud houses, how much would that cost?
Yeah, a unit would cost like, that is 200,000 Kenya shillings. That's a unit. Yeah, that's a unit, 200,000 Kenya shillings. I don't know if you convert, what does it make?
Yeah.
2,000?
Just I do that the whole day to convince people to donate
Yeah,
something.
so if you have like 3 units, it would go
So
like
wait, just say the number, please, again. Sorry, I'm not good at. So 20. Can you dictate it, please?
200 and then 3 zeros.
Okay, just a sec.
Because I think it's important to know, right? Like how much money would actually allow you to expand. And it doesn't sound like this is a nice, it's not even a luxurious place with a pool or something. This is just space for you guys to teach kids.
Okay, 200 to 0. So 20020.
That is maybe 200,000.
I really want to help people, but like I'm not understanding. Can you write it in the chat, maybe?
Yeah, that is.
No, but like this is like, it sounds funny. Yeah, maybe I look funny and it sounds funny, but because what I'm trying to do, okay, so the thing is, Leonard has big plans, like I'll give him that. I think he's more the optimist. I'm sometimes I'm like, I just want to see how, like, it's not just about opening people's hearts, they gotta open their wallet at some point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this will just be a plan.
Well, it
So,
looks from what I see, it costs about 2,000 Canadian dollars to
oh, there you go. You're better. Maybe you can join us and help me with that.
yeah
So,
to convert it to Kenyan shillings. And that's to purchase the building or to rent it?
Just purchasing one unit.
Purchasing one unit. And ideally you would have about 3, right?
I'd love to have like 3 units.
3
Then
units.
Make a whole, and that's good for us.
So
I mean, that's cheaper than any software development boot camp.
yeah, that's like tuition for one like, I don't know, 1 year of university in a Canadian school.
Right. So, I mean, I do understand we have to care about, you have to care about your own problems too. Yeah, it's true. But like, what I really do believe this, because I've done my studies, I've like, eventually everybody will benefit if there are more people who can build software. And
Yeah.
honestly, shall we make it more cynical, more practical here? If these kids become software developers in Kenya, the labor is still always going to be cheaper there.
Yeah.
So if somebody's
Exactly.
looking to hire them, they're still going to benefit from that. So just help them become software developers, because economically speaking, you're still going to benefit from that. Since I know I'm not being very sentimental and stuff, but people want to know these things too, I think. So yeah, there is some economic gain. I mean, I don't care fully about that. I am all for this world is unfair, let's make it better. But I think people want to know also about that. So
it's about talking to people in different ways, right? I think the the morality of it speaks for itself. If you have these kids that want to learn, and the only barrier to becoming software engineers and educating themselves and raising up their community is a couple of $1,000, it's ridiculous not to donate that. But I guess there are some people that are a little bit more self-centered, who want to see like an economic benefit in their own country. And there is that, right? As you raise up these other countries, the
it's
labor
human
does get
nature.
cheaper.
I mean, it's human nature, don't get me wrong. But like I said, okay, imagine you're a startup founder, okay? You're not a technical founder, okay? You go and you want an agency to build whatever, the back end or something. Are you gonna pay more or want to pay less? Since you're a startup founder, you're gonna want to pay less.
Of course.
If you want to pay less, you need to look into developing countries. But what if there are no people that can build your software in developing countries? What are you going to do?
Yeah, you need really high quality, trained people, and this is what you guys provide. Now, are there agencies like that in Kenya that sort of round up educated software developers? Do you guys have any knowledge of them or connections with them?
Mostly there's a question you asked about if there are people who, if somebody learns software development, they can employ. It's not that big. In fact, it's Watoto coding that's trying like to bridge the gap, where we want to teach Kenyans to know that software development, you can make a living out of that.
Yeah.
Our parents raised us like, it's either you're a doctor, a teacher, or as kids we are told, what do you want to be? I want to be a pilot. So we've been managed in that way. So this is like a shift that we are trying to make. We have companies like if I might mention one of the biggest telecommunication, which is Safaricom. They recognize, because they've developed a lot of software. They're so much into fintech, where there's M-Pesa, there's Fuliza. Those are mobile money solutions that they depend on software developers to come up with ideas. Like Fuliza is where maybe you don't have money in your phone, and then maybe you have a limit where you can borrow. So it's something that has been developed by one of the software developers. But most of them are people who went to school in the US or the UK, the Kenyans who went to school in other countries. They come back and realize that there's Safaricom here, and then they sell them ideas. So most of these technologies they get from Kenyans who went for education in India, in the US, in the UK, maybe in Canada, and So they come back and implement that. So whatever you are saying about how about we have such a setup in Kenya where we have kids who are learning all these things at a tender age. They go to high school, they go to college, and then they come back with the same skills within the same country.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's a good point where that's where we are going. You don't need to go to Canada or go to the US or to India to learn that. If you are able, just go. But in Kenya also we are able to have this. So I'm just brave enough to start this in the slum. Yeah, we have a lot of people who are knowledgeable. There are a lot of people who you would approach. They have the money to do this, but they are not brave enough to do this. But I just took I just took the leap and see if it can trigger some movement. Yeah, so that's the point. I've been encouraged with a lot of people talking in podcasts, people getting interested in what I'm doing, people just sending me messages telling me just go ahead with this thing. It's promising. So that's the direction that we are taking currently. Yeah.
You know, I'm another one of them. I think that the work you guys are doing is amazing. I think it's stuff that absolutely needs to get done. And there's no shortage of work to be done, I'm sure. And you know, I've already donated just a little bit to you guys, but I'm gonna donate more because your story is fantastic.
Thank you.
Now for anyone
Oh.
listening,
If it was this easy, just tell the story and they immediately donate. I was making a financial case here, but there you go. Thank you.
well, for anyone else listening, where could they find you? Where can we donate to you?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
So listen, guys. Okay, Twitter, Watoto coding is the username. WATOTO coding. And I'm not saying it like that because I think you're stupid. It's because a lot of people listen to things whilst they're doing something else. I do that too. Watoto coding, WATOTO. Twitter username, okay? Then, of course, the website is watotocoding.com. Okay, and on the website, there is a donate button. It's there. It's got a cup, it's got a heart, and it says donate. And for anyone, maybe older senior citizens that are willing to donate, but are maybe conflicted, by donating online, my credit card, sometimes they struggle with that. And it's not about us, it's about, their trust on the internet. Don't worry, because we have implemented a payment solution, which is the same one used by Deliveroo or Uber Eats, if you trust them, that is. But so it's Stripe, so don't worry about that either. We're on Instagram and Facebook too, and LinkedIn, but I think Twitter is the start of everything. Then from there, yeah.
Absolutely. So I'd 100% encourage anybody listening to go to Watoto Coding Hub on Twitter and
No,
visit the
no.
no?
Watoto coding is the username.
Oh, Watoto Coding.
WATOTO coding. And
Okay.
also watotocoding.com.
Okay, gotcha. So visit those two and donate.
And also, I would love to add something. Maybe we were saying like
Absolutely.
people should not fear. People should not fear like we don't need like it doesn't mean you have to donate millions of money. We have 30 kids, and we are looking at $10 can help a kid learn coding for a month. That is $10. That's $10. It can help a kid learn coding for a month. So if you have like 30 people $10.
Oh no, it was going well until now. Is it karma? I did not do anything wrong today.
uh,
I swear I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, everything else was good.
Okay.
We'll get Leonard to repeat this. Are you there, Leonard?
No, it's not working.
Yeah.
Wait. Stop.
Yeah.
No, I'm not being rude because otherwise, stop.
Are you there?
Oh,
Yeah.
write in the chat.
We'll get him to repeat all that. It's so good.
Yes, but I don't think he can hear me telling him to
Yeah.
stop. I think because
I let him know in the chat. I'm not sure if he saw it though. That he cut out.
Yeah.
yeah.
You hear me,
Yeah.
Costa?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear both of you.
Okay.
Perfect. Do you
Yeah.
want to repeat that? You just cut out right after you said that
Yeah.
$10
What I
can
was-
help a kid learn coding for a month.
Yes, exactly. $10 can help a kid learn coding a month. So anybody can donate. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say anybody, but a lot of people.
Yes. 30
That's
kids,
you know.
$10. 30 people, $10 each. We have our rent for 3 months as we wait for the bigger dream to happen. Yeah.
Like I'm just saying anybody because there are people in economic difficulties too. Don't get me wrong, but there are people who aren't. So not anybody, but a lot of people. I've checked the statistics, and it's a lot of you probably listening right now. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the story. That's my.
It's an amazing story, and I hope to follow you guys along your journey. I'll be following you guys on Twitter, and I'll visit your website periodically to catch up with you guys. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming on. This has been an extremely powerful podcast, and you know what? I appreciate you guys speaking with me.
Likewise. Pleasure.
Yeah,
Amazing.
thank you, David, for creating time for us.
Absolutely. All right.
We're hoping for the best.
Now, thank you everyone for listening. This has been the Regroup podcast with Costanza and Leonard of the Watoto Coding Hub. Have a nice week, everyone.